everyone, it's me Lainey and welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be doing another Top 5 Wednesday. Top 5 Wednesday was created by Lainey over at Ginger Reads Lainey, and I will link her video as well as the Goodreads group down below. This week's topic was Top 5 Biggest Book Hangovers. You know when you finish a book and you have a small existential crisis and don't know what to do with your life anymore? That's what this is about. I have to admit that I don't tend to get really bad book hangovers. There's always some kind of other book that I really want to read. So most of the time I'm really good at avoiding the hangovers, you know. But sometimes they do get me, and that's what this video is about. So let's just begin with the top 5. Coming in at number 5 is the Avatar: The Search trilogy. I am a huge fan of Avatar: The Last Airbender. I grew up with it. It will be my favorite show of all time forever and ever and ever. It has a very close place to my heart. If you have watched Avatar: The Last Airbender, then you may also have had the question after the last episode, hey, why do we still not know what happened to Zuko's mom? Well, these 3 graphic novels are all about that. So I don't know if you know what I know, but I now know what happened to Zuko's mom. So when I had finished this trilogy, I was like, I can die in peace now. I know the answer. I know what happened to Zuko's mom. And after that, I was kind of like, is it over now? Is it gone forever? And coming in at number 4 is The Hunger Games by Susan Collins, and with that I mean the first book, specifically the first book. The Hunger Games was one of the first young adult books that I read, and I remember that it was the first book that I just binge read. Like, there's a warning on the back of the book that says, be warned, this book will take over your life. And that was true for me. I got this book and I started reading, and I was just reading this for 2 days straight, just only reading The Hunger Games, The Hunger Games, The Hunger Games, The Hunger Games. Like, my family thought I was crazy. Like, why are you... Stop reading. And I was like, no, I have to know what happens to Katniss. And then when I finished it, I was like, because I didn't have any other books. I didn't have the next books in the series. I didn't have a TBR. I was like, what did I do before reading? Coming in at number 3 is Ruin and Rising by Leigh Bardugo, the last book in the Grisha trilogy. So I buddy read this entire series with a friend for just 2 months. This series was what I was talking about and what I was thinking about, and then the last book came out and we both read it and we both talked about it, and there are so many things happening in this book that really hit me, but it was just the fact that I had been so into this book for a few months. And when I finished this book, it was like closing a door, just leaving something behind, like something that I had been so into for the past few months. It was just over at once. And I still remember that I was just kind of sitting in my chair like, oh, man. This is one of those series that I mostly love for the experience that went with the series. And I always think that the experience that you have while reading a book can really influence your emotions and your thoughts about this book. And that also really influenced all my feelings for this book. I have a lot of feelings for this series, mostly because I just had a great time reading them. Coming in at number 3 is We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. I remember reading this a year ago after my graduation exams from high school, and I finished this just before the day I was going on a holiday with my friends. Now, if you don't know what this book is about, it is also about a group of friends that are on a holiday. I was home alone that day. I was reading it, and I finished it, and I was just crying. I was just sitting there like, oh my gosh. And because of the fact that I was home alone, and that I knew that the next day I was gonna go on a holiday with my friends, it was just like, it was so surreal. I really had like a really weird after book experience when reading it. And the only thing that I could think of was, I'm taking this book with me on holiday and I'm making my friend read it. And then when she finally finished the book, I experienced the same book hangover all over again. And now, coming in at number 1, I hate to be the cliche, but it is The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. Yes, I know, cliche, la la la. I read this book before I was on BookTube. I hadn't got any of the hype. I didn't know anything about this. I didn't even know that it was going to be sad. I just picked it up because it sounded interesting, and it just broke me. I'm not really a book crier, but this book, I was just like sobbing. I don't think I've ever experienced a book hangover like this one. I just kept thinking about it for weeks and weeks after, and whenever I would think about this book, I would literally almost start crying. And I still think that this was a great book. And that was my top 5 biggest book hangovers. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what book broke you, and I will see you another time. Goodbye.
Wake me up, saying nothing's enough. I'm dying to live. Something's gonna give.
Biggest book hangovers. I'm gonna close the window because people can hear me. Small existential. Existential.